So, I'm going to start out by showing that I got the 38mm unbranded tires from AliExpress. They are bouncy, definitely a harder compound. They'll be pretty good for outside on sand and dirt, I guess. Not really good for rocks, I don't think. These are the R32 Tiny4x4 wheels. The only other wheels I found that they fit good are these back here, the WL Toys stadium truck wheels. They have to be stretched a little bit, but definitely a good size for lifted or off-road Orlandos. As you can see, I have painted my R32 to match the upgrade shocks, and I painted the wheels also. And if you see right here, I have now also upgraded to the worm gear axles, so no more rolly while it's sitting still. Still has a lot of articulation. I don't think it's got as much as it did, because in order to work these with the X01 links, you have to extend the front ones out, or the upper ones out, quite a ways, and then the bottom ones have to be brought in. The lower links have to be brought in until they don't tighten any further. They came pre-assembled, so don't know if they're greased. I'm assuming they are, but I will take one apart. I'll take the back one apart and check it. I need to pull it off anyway and adjust my links, maybe. Had a mishap when I was driving it the other night. My solder joints on the Tarsi ESC were pretty horrible, to be honest, and I smoked, whatever you want to call it, my brand new ESC, Azure Hawker Tarsi. So I'm gonna replace that, but I'm not really worried about that. I wanted to talk about this. It's a shorter wheelbase now, more along with hub to hub with the Duroc. The Gammy is just a fraction longer. I don't know. Let me look here. 3mm maybe longer wheelbase, maybe a little more. So with these worm gear axles with the skulls on them, I mean, I like them, but it shortens the wheelbase of this chassis with the stock X01 links. So I am going to build it this way, and I'm going to leave it because this is going to be a pure crawler, not a bouncer, no mud. And the worm gear axles should improve performance even more. Barely have any shock rub. Just wanted to say that with these shocks and these axles, there's no shock rub right there, hardly at all, unless it's full lock, and then it's not much. It's workable. So and I haven't moved the front shocks back, because I like the way it's holding it up. If I set the battery up here on the roof with, we'll go with the heavier ESC, the Tarsi. Get this all setting up here, and there's my receiver. I know it's here, underneath all this. It's not completely bottomed out. There's quite a bit of front travel. The rear is not completely bottomed out either. 1/8 of an inch, a few millimeters. So that's good. I'm gonna probably go with the 002 TS002 Orlando ESC on this, just for space saving. Easier to get everything inside it. So I'm going to order another one of those also, and get another one of the micro ESCN receivers for the Gammy Baby Fat Girl chassis, which I did paint my wheels gold to kind of bring out all the brass that's in it. It's not a lot, it's just the links, but I like the look of it. It's been a long time since I decided to do anything specific to it, so that's how that's going to be. And I am going to use the busted wheel that I patched up. There's just no beadlock holes on it now. I'm not going to worry about it. My rule of thumb on these is I'm not doing a fancy paint job and making sure it's perfect, because I do take them outside and drive them on dirt, sand, rocks, and kind of beat them up. I dropped the Gammy on the floor the other night and chipped the hood scoop that I made for it. No big deal. Chipped the paint on it. But yeah, wanted to show these axles. Waited almost a month. Well, it's been a month and a half since I ordered them. Close to it. A few days away from a month and a half. So glad they finally showed up. The tires showed up a few days ago. So I like the stance of it, with it not squatting all the way. So this is going to work out. Planning it out with the electronics that I just showed. The only catch is I have to make a servo mount. I don't know of any way to get a servo in here with the motor. I'm probably going to do a brushless upgrade also, but I'll have to make a servo mount to get the little 2.2 or maybe even the Metal Gear servo on the top of the axle, and I'll do that with brass most likely. Just for strength and ease of making it myself. Only places I can see to mount a servo on the axle, and get a pointer here. I'll get my screwdriver. I'll use a drill bit, why not? Is behind these top ball screws, which are the captured ball screws that come on the XO2. So behind here, and maybe this upper screw right here, one of these two screws and this one are the only places I can see to mount, to screw on a servo mount. The hubs are all stock plastic, OH whatever, Orlando hubs, C hubs. So that's all in all, you know, whatever. Everybody knows how those are, and they did come with black lock nuts. So pretty awesome. I really like the look of them. The skull looks really cool. It's got an aggressive look to it. I have no complaints at all about the machining of those. The shocks, stretching the springs out and using the electronics instead of that Tarsi. I do like the Tarsi, but it's really thick. It's twice as thick as the 0001. So it's going to be a heavier ESC. This is the Tarsi Hawker, Azure Hawker Tarsi, and this is the 0001 Orlando. You see the difference in the thickness. So that's double-sided sticky tape glue all over this one. But yeah, the comparison of the 0002, this is paper thin compared. So really small ESC. I don't know what the performance is of it. I'm going to use it anyway just because of saving space. Unless I go with brushless. If I go with brushless, then of course I'll use the brushless ESC. And later on, if I decide to upgrade to Furatech, I do have a Furatech ESC Lizard ESC. I just don't have a Furatech motor in it, or motor for it, or the Bluetooth dongle. But I'll probably go with the generic branded or unbranded Orlando motor, brushless motor. I'm really looking at it and trying to think. Yeah, there's no way to really put a servo in here other than figuring out a little bracket, making my own little bracket to mount it to the top of the axle. So I have not even checked to see if there's any way to use the Orlando mount. It doesn't look like it would fit at all. Actually, you know what? That might work. I'm gonna have to take this apart and look at it. My plan is also to use these axles that came with this and probably put my XO1 together and get it set up as just a roller for now and get back onto my paperclip chassis afterwards, or maybe build one of them. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, I'm not going to make the video really long and talk for another 30 minutes about it. Don kind of thanked me. He did tell me that he took into consideration everything I said about, making this a little beefier, a little thicker material around these holes in case people do have to drill it out. He said he might make the hole bigger himself in the final version. So I do know an approximate time when he's trying to get it released, but I'm going to leave that to him to say. So if you're looking for something new, get ready, because it shouldn't take him long. Don kind of gets on this stuff and gets with it when he's ready. So I'm enjoying this. Sucks I burned out my Tarsi ESC, but it is what it is. I've burned out several ESCs while working on them. It was my fault for not soldering the wires in gooder enough. So basically when I rearranged everything, I didn't realize it, but I had broken a couple of those wires up in here, and they touched, and it just, I was driving it on my desk and it started smoking, and I did not get the battery unplugged quick enough, and that spot right there, I don't know if I had all that off camera just now, but the wires broke right up in here when I rearranged everything in the cage, and I didn't realize it. It lasted a few runs, and then it just, the final charge on it, I guess I moved it a little bit when I plugged the battery back in, and the wire seems to have broken. It looks like the positive wire. It's the red wire right here, right in the middle. So I can't tell if there's any on the black wire or the white, but definitely there is on the red. So by the time I got it unplugged, or right as I was unplugging it, that little spot right there was right between my thumbnails. That was glowing orangish white and smoking like a little train, and stunk up my whole room here, but that's alright. I'd rather the electronics burn out than break a chassis or tear up any axles or anything. So hope everybody's doing great and getting some stuff done or having fun. I don't know, this kind of looks a little better with the shorter. I mean, it looks really good stretched out the way I had it. Just, I stretched it as far as I could without basically dropping the links all the way out. But it looks like it's a bigger variant at this wheelbase. I like it. So anyway, charcoal gray metallic is my color for it now, and that's where it's going to stay. I will figure out body panel colors. This color matched the shocks really good, so I like it. Be really cool if they made the axles that color too, but they don't. But that kind of brings out the little aluminum end here also, so it kind of gives it some accent. And I might do just bare aluminum panels and then put some decals on it and clear coat it. I don't know yet. So I'm not going to paint the skid, no point in that. I am going to replace the transmission because I'm giving this one that came with it, the plastic one, to the Gamey RC Baby Fat Girl. I painted it gold to match the wheels just because. But I'm going to replace this one with a bare aluminum to go with the axles and give this thing some good upgrade parts. So we'll see what comes next. I haven't ordered anything else right now. Might be a while, I'm not sure. The paint is still a little tacky, so I'm gonna let it sit here and just, I'll get my rear axle adjusted a little bit. I think I might leave it, I don't know, it's hard to say right now. When it squats, the rear pinion is down towards the front, so I don't know, it might work out though. Technically they're both doing that. I haven't gone through any of my stuff to see what other links I have that I can swap out. So, but I hope everybody likes this, thinks it looks good, because I do. I like the kind of dark look on it. It's dark, but it's shiny too. I'm sure by the time I'm done with it, it'll be dull from me touching it. But anyway, appreciate the views. Like, subscribe, share. And everybody stay safe. Have fun. Appreciate it.